who are watching the sun fall, and the rain was a bit ordinary earlier on, but Andy, it's really good to be working with you and to say how about these two.
It's a massive privilege to be here today, this Saturday afternoon at Sacred Heart's Middle School ground. And yeah, I did some list verifications for the two teams. Prince Alfred, very upbeat in their room, lots of loud music and banter. And Sacred Heart, a little bit different. They were more focused, condensed. They were all getting down into a quiet meeting. You could barely hear a pin drop in there.
Andy, when you went into the rooms, you get a look at what the field's like. You can't always walk away and say, I know exactly what's going on. Were there furtive glances, or were there nerves that might have been shown by some of the footballers in the two rooms?
Well, I think it's a major difference in attitude, really. Obviously, Prince Alfred have been up in Div 1 for quite a bit of time now. They won the premiership 2 years ago, made the grand final last year, and they've just been here and done it before in regulation. Sacred Heart, this is a big opportunity for them. Coming back into Division 1. They're second on the ladder, only 7% ahead of Prince Alfred, and obviously it's a big task today to really fight for those final 5 spots come the end of the year.
And we've got some, what would you call them, thongs to give away at the end of the day. And I think from memory, Jack Trengove, I reckon he's got 5 or 6 pairs already. He's had a stellar start to the season, and there are some good quality players from both teams.
Yeah, I'm sure Jack Trengove would need to get a couple of glass frames at home just to be able to stack them all up on the wall, because he'd have a lot of beanies and a lot of thongs as well. He'd be running out of room for all of them. But yeah, definitely he's always a major contender for it. But there's plenty of other great names for Prince Alfred as well that could contend. Although, of course, we give it to the winning team for the most part, so the next 2 hours will tell us who is eligible for it.
And we can duck over to where they're selling pies, I think, in this little pie van that we're going to be experiencing. Indy, a thrill to have you on board. Looking forward to calling the game with you. And importantly, getting back to grassroots football, which is exactly what we do with Dartfish.
Yeah, absolutely, and I know you've been there and done that. Started in Ballarat, you've done work with ABC, you've called in the big time, you called for the VFL, and obviously done all sorts of stuff with the Olympics and Commonwealth Games, and you've all just been there and done that. And I'm here at the moment, so we're still trying to build up for me. Early days for me, of course, but I'm definitely very excited to be working with you today. Massive privilege, and it should be an exciting afternoon.
Works both ways, my friend. Both teams are out and about now, getting ready for the start of the senior game. It'll be a beauty. We'll be here. We're not going anywhere. We will be here. And hopefully you'll stay with us too for football on a Saturday afternoon. Don't you just love it? Joined by Indy Rogers, and we are here for a reason. It's Saturday afternoon and it is football, and can you believe it, as I welcome my co-commentator Indy, it was a shocker overnight. It belted down with rain, but now the sun's shining and we're in for some sort of a game. These two sides like the smell of blood when they're out there. You've been into the rooms, you know what it's like. Welcome aboard. I'm thrilled to be able to call you the co-commentator and toss the coin as to what's going to happen. How you going?
I'm going all right. Thank you very much, Peter Walsh. It's a massive privilege to be here with you today. And I just looked at the coin toss. Sacred Heart will be kicking to the left of screen in this first quarter. So the home side won the toss by the looks of things. And well, when we talk about form, both of these teams second and third respectively on the ladder. Not to mention one of those teams that being Prince Alfred, currently hosts the leading goal kicker in the league at that number 19, Jaden Davis. So he's definitely one to look out for, Peter.
He will be. Yes, there's a fair bit of talent in both teams. I should mention two in the reserves. Shock 9.11.65, Prince Alfred 9.9.63. Good luck to the umpires, Liam Binning and Rob Kane, who are the two central umpires. Wayne Scarman and Luke Simpson, who are the two boundaries. And Robert Tainch and Chris May are the two who'll be on the boundary. I love the build-up, Indy. When we look at the players, they crash into each other, they run around, they handball. I have no idea at all if they've got a preconceived idea of how they're going to get themselves warmed up. But all I do know is this game promises to be a pretty fair scrap.
Absolutely. With the conditions overnight, even if the sun is out for the majority of the day, you can't expect the ground to be too forgiving of those conditions. And while this is closer to the beach, so the soil should be pretty nice and smooth, and the sand underneath it should hopefully soak some of it up, it still looks like the cricket pitch has got a little bit of mud on it, and so do the goal squares. So definitely, if you're playing as a key forward or a key position midfielder, you're going to have a difficult time. And, well, this is just a precursor to how the ground might look in 2 months' time when we're midway through July and it's an absolute mudslog out there.
Yes.
You'll see manatees and pigs swimming through it in time, but for now it still looks good. And the weather right now, thankfully, also looks up to standard. Partly cloudy, a bit of a chill, wind blowing across the ground, probably to the further side. Shouldn't be a huge advantage to one team or the other, although the toss may say otherwise, of course. Sacred Heart kicking to the left of screen. That'll be an interesting one to look at as the teams are making their way out, Peter.
Harry Lambert is our cameraman, and Will Laws is the producer. And, of course, we've got Indy Rod next to Peter Walsh, who's going to bounce around and, find some new words in the vocabulary that we haven't used for a while, and get ourselves stuck there as we see going down into full forward. Alex Colotto, we saw him during the week doing the training. He is a giant. He's about 20 metres out now from the goal face that he is protecting. He is a very big man as we wait now for the opening bounce to start proceedings. McDermott almost got it on the left boot. Kicks long, Sacred Heart towards full forward. Off the back of the pack. No one can take the grab. There's a push and a shove. Umpire lets proceedings go on. And there will be a free kick in defence going to Chris Curran, who hand passes to his teammate, Mackenzie Slee.
Mackenzie Slee, an important task from half-back. Kicking against the wind, although like we said earlier, it's going across the ground. You could see there, the ball's going to be on the far side wing like that for probably most of this match, unless the wind could dial down. There's been an interception here, but a good spoil as an effort of retaliation. Jolly keeping it alive. Tried to go with the 1-2, it spills out further. Prince Alfred desperate to maintain possession. They continue to chain link hand passes. Jolly getting involved once again, doing a lot. Working well in tangent with Thiele. He loses it. Somehow Sacred Heart get it out as the Shocks on the last touch rule. That's going to come back to Prince Alfred and into the hands of William Charlick, taking the reins of the number 16. So he'll look from half-back, likely to keep this ball persistent on the far wing. Pack goes up, spoils St. Peter's, trying to get the crumb out. A poor hand pass from Hartshorn. It might still work out for them. Snap into the forward line. The Crummers are waiting, maybe waiting too long, but in fairness, the defenders were right onto them.
Looked like a possible free kick for a brief moment going to Law, but not to be the case. But he's going to go in there and then try and knock the ball clear. The ball kicked off the boot there by Macaulay in defence. He's kicked from Prince Albert. Now it's worked around towards the centre wing position and it bounces out for a throw in. Now you had a wander. You had a look at the ground when you were chasing up some details beforehand. Bit sticky or what?
Yeah, definitely a bit sticky. Very smudgy. I shouldn't have picked my good shoes today, that's for sure.
Boundary throwing to take place. No score yet. Top game this one. Should be a beauty. Oftentimes we build it up and it's a big fat duck egg where nothing happens. Nothing's right. Big man running down there. We've mentioned him a few times. That's Carlotto, who runs back into full forward. No score yet. We've gone almost 2.5 minutes of this, the first quarter.
Another ball up to ensue as a result of immense tackling pressure from Sacred Heart. Based on the conditions last night, you'd expect these two teams to play a defensive brand, although they do both host very good key forwards, one of them the playing captain today being Alex Kailoto. There's a free kick here. It's high infringement. It's going to go the way of Sacred Heart. Just contemplating who it's going to. It's going to go to the hands of Harrison Morgan. It's a fair set shot, isn't it? Right against the sun, also against the breeze because it's kicking towards the ground, and very far way out. Difficult angle.
Pretty good kick to get this far.
He'll really have to push his own skill ceiling to make this one. Kicks it from the arc. Lets it set sail. It's not going to make the distance, but there's going to be another whistle for a holding call. And that might just go the way of Sacred Heart. Yes, it will.
Good pickup from where you were. We're a long way away then. Well done, Indy. And the umpire knew straight away. He was pretty chuffed, and so too was the big bloke, number 39, who's got a real chance to kick a goal.
So it's not directly in front, but it's a very favourable distance for Alex Kailoto. The skipper kicks the opener for the match. And we finally get a score on the board.
We watched him last night when he was training. I was down there with John and with Tony, and we were just doing some wandering around in no clear direction in our, where we were going. And I have to say, he had the troops really pumped up beforehand, got across, spoke to us for 10 minutes, all about let's get ready. We need to know that this mob that we're playing, I've got 3 extra players from Glenelg. They're going to be hard to beat. Let's see what we can do. And he had them going. Were they pumping? And in doing that, they've come out too, and he's taken that big grab too. And responsibilities for a goal, as we see McNamara bang the ball down towards full forward, pushing the shove, chance for Prince Alfred. It's close to a score. They can't get a score down there. Hand pass out of trouble is good. Brinkworth goes the right boot back around towards centre wing, and it'll be a reload for Prince Albert. Score 1 straight goal, 6. That goal kicked by Carlotta, and Prince Albert yet to score.
Chris Curran has been doing a lot of early minutes in defence. That kick not going to hit the target directly. Neil will try to keep it alive, and he does with a decently productive snap. Now the Crummers. A little toe poke snap across the deck, rolls closer towards goal, but Ricochet finds its way back into Sacred Heart's hands. The Shocks trying to advance now from the far wing. That's a high ball to win, a difficult one to win. It's going to be Chris Curran again. He's stepping up early where it matters. He's had a good early defensive presence. He looks onward, contemplating the options. He saw something he liked, but his man denied it with a smother. So now they're going to have to chain together some hand passes to get out of trouble. And they will be able to do so thanks to the presence of Mitchell Thiele. So now we're on the broadcasting side wing. Campbell Wildman. Slow to chip it off. Just playing a bit of a conservative brand at the moment, Prince Alfred, as it comes into the hands of Andrew Bradley. He's unsure of where to go to next. Into the corridor with a short chip kick to Jack Traingrove. He advances. It's a high ball, and it should have been an easy task for Craig Pick to mark it. Instead, he's not going to be able to get it out, and it's actually going to be called against him.
You know, you talk about the quality of players from both teams, and Andrew Bradley, who was a captain for Glenelg in the Sandful, and there's Trengove, who gets the footy and says, I wanted it. If you're going to get it off me, good luck. So the ball banged down the ground, Jolly racing back for it for Prince Alfred. Snap out of the pack in towards full forward, clears the pack and will roll towards the boundary line and will go over. No. Umpire says it was still in play. Now the left boot, and it's been able to work its way through for, signalled the behind. And in doing so, thank you, Mr. Goal Umpire. I thought for a minute they'd forgotten to wave the flag. That wasn't the case. Neat and tidy is the way it's working there. Mackenzie Slee's got it. Back to the centre wing position. It's 1 straight to a goal. The goal kicker is Carlotto. Can he do anything else down on that defensive line? He's yelling out from the opposite end. He'll do all the yelling and nothing else will be sorted. 8 minutes gone in this first quarter. Hope you're enjoying our coverage. We are. What a shock. What a fantastic day for football. 1 straight 6, 2 behind. Carlotto is the goal scorer, and he is the player for Sacred Heart, and we love to watch him play.
Bit of a turnover here on the half-forward flank for Prince Alfred. Curving ball from Clark. It goes back into the hands of Sean Tapp. He stood up defensively early. Finds an asset with long sleeves at the far side of the ground. To another one-on-one. It's not going to be marked by Rankin, and he's going to lose it because Prince Alfred had extra support around him. Now Jolly through the corridor is always dangerous. Not so much on that occasion, as he hit the wrong man and he was chopped out anyway. So now instead, Simons chips it back out to those reliable long sleeves of what looks to be Harrison Morgan. And the ball stumbles over the boundary line as we're just over 9 minutes into this Adelaide Footy League broadcast between Sacred Heart and Prince Alfred. You're watching the Make Sure Ratify live stream.
In the earlier match in the reserves, Reserve Shock 9-11-65, Prince Alfred 9-9-63. I can guarantee, my friends, we'll be pumping all of the scores out in your direction because you want to hear about them all. Of course you do. There's a long thumping kick in towards full forward across the face of the goal mouth. And there's nobody down there except someone in blue. And that's what it is. Kick in towards centre half back. Who's going to grab it? They're all pushing and shoving. Hand pass comes out of the pack. Chance there for Bradley again. Couldn't get it. Twist, turns. Back to Bradley. Bradley on the left boot. Yes, sirree! What a kick. Bradley out. And he gobbled it up. It was running towards where he was. And he was able to drag to take the mark down. And Joshua Garrels was the player who was able to grab it. And this should be, you would expect, a pretty easy shot at goal. I don't want to get too carried away. But he's only 30 out. Comes in. Drop punt kick on its way. Looks pretty good. Talk to me, Mr. Umpire. You did. You can. Garrels kicks a goal. And that was well done to him. Well done to Bradley. His intestinal fortitude and his knowledge of the game that he's played so well at a Sandful level. Congratulations. 117 to 1 straight 6. It's just a behind the difference. 10 minutes of, pretty reasonable action here where we're having. I think it's a long time since I've been to a private school here, so I better move on, Indy. Stay here too long. That's a good goal.
Yeah, Prince Alfred forcing a lot of defensive half turnovers from their opposition in those last few minutes. Did a really good job locking it in their forward half. Now with the rucks going at it, Jolly having to fend off a couple of tacklers. Needed to get it out to support quickly. It was McNamara. Came off of the boot of Wildman, but his kick was rushed due to the pressure ensuing. It'll come back out to Thiele, working with Wildman, working with Jolly. Now getting kicked out by Clark. It was chopped out a little bit there, but still finds its way forward. Little chip kick across. Came from Davis. There's going to be a whistle here. It's going to go over the line. I thought that might have been a free kick for a chop there on Tyson Brazel, but instead it'll be thrown in as expected as we get closer towards the 12-minute mark. Sun continuing to gleam. The dogs and spectators happy to be out without the requirement for an umbrella. Rucks go at it again. This time Brazel doing a bit of ruck work in the forward line. It's locked straight back in, and we've got a 7-point game.
Just a quick one, Indy. Looking at Alex Carlotto, he's up on the half-back flank. He's taken his opponent right down the ground, and he's on the half-back flank now, so he's not in any way worried about it rumping up and down the ground. He's doing that beautifully. Is he going to go back now? He actually did where we are. He goes for the ball. He's taken without it, push and a shove, close to going over the boundary line. Can't do that. Both players or both teams in hard at the contest, and there will be, another umpire taking control. Joshua Garrels and Alex Carlotto are the two goal scorers for the respective teams, and we, at this particular venue, what a magnificent place it is too. 117, Prince Alfred to Shocks, 1 straight 6, and on our way here, you suggested it might be a close game. Well, I know it's a long way away, but it's exactly what we want. Good start.
It's an important match for the winner to be able to keep up with the top of the ladder, Glenunga Rams, that's for sure. Of course, if you caught the broadcast we did of their game last week with Tony Neal and I, it was a cracking, dominating performance from Glenunga, and it really got the fans out of their seats as well. So they're definitely the team to beat right now, but these two sides also want to put their hands up for that remark. Ball finds its way into the hands of Tom Sumner. All the way at the back. They've got to go coast to coast from here. Are they comfortable with the transition game? Well, Wildman was comfortable taking the contested mark. He wasted no time going to Craig Pitt. It rolls towards the forward line. The numbers won't favour them, but if Jordan Neal can get his body involved for the better, he does. Gets down dirty, takes himself to turf, takes his opponent to turf. It's going to be a ball up just outside the forward 50 and centre square for that matter, but approaching Prince Alfred territory.
Low scoring first quarter too. When we arrived at the ground earlier on, John, who leads our gang, arrived at about 3 this morning, and I can tell you it was very, very cold and wet, but it's not now. Perfect conditions for football. Scramble at half forward, the umpire will call for it and do it again. The umpires Liam Binning and Rob Kane, assisted by Wayne Scarman and Luke Simpson and Rob Tainch and Chris Main, and a very, very big well done to the umpires for rendering assistance right throughout the year. Out of the pack, snap in towards full forward, clears the kick there from Craig Pitt, but it bounces away from him, and it might have gone out on the full, so there will be a free kick, and the free kick will go to Sacred Heart, who the scoring court 117 to 1 straight 6. It's amazing. 15 minutes gone, perfect conditions. Not too much going on the scoreboard, my friend.
Not too much going on the scoreboard, but definitely a lot going on in the turf, because lots of tackling pressure being applied by both sides. Inaccuracy not the issue. It's just an arm wrestle out there, fair and square. Cameron Pritchard takes the intercept from a choppy kick from his opposition. Jolly maybe got it off a little too trigger happy there to his teammate in sleeve, because Patrick McCarthy was right onto his tail. They can take it slow here now as they get it to the playing coach, Alex Kaiolotto. He contemplates the options on the broadcasting side wing. Plays it safe with the chip, but didn't hit his target lace out. That could be danger, although a high infringement here will make sure that they retain that possession. Just a bit of push and shove going off as they try to get the ball back here. Campbell Wildman not too pleased with the result, but it will lead to an important forward entry, is what we're expecting now for the Shocks. It was actually a pretty good low darting kick, but it wasn't marked to intention. The Crummers actually probably happier to see it over the line there, because Prince Alfred have gotten the defensive enforcements back.
Good game. Plenty of action. Hopefully we'll get a reaction during the halftime break. We'll race out and see whether or not we can just glean some knowledge from the two sides that are working so hard. Boundaries thrown and no one can grab it. There's people out there sitting on their rugs. A couple of lookalikes out there. Sean Burgoyne, he's got his lookalike. His brother's brought him along. Just fantastic to see so many people at this level of football. They're all enjoying it. Ball kicked over the top of that was Forster. I think it might have been the sun. He looked up and I think he realised that the sun was shining in his eyes. He didn't go for the mark and there'll be a bounce. Have a look if you don't mind. How many people around there? How many people? They're all over the shop. Kick quickly. Didn't go all that far, but it was the jolly kick. Bounces back towards centre wing. Over the shoulder, there's a call. Umpires are quick. The head needs to be screwed back on. And the free kick will go back there to Sam Olby. It's 1 straight 6 to 117. Come on, Indy, get a few scores, will you? There's hardly any scores out there.
No, just lots of tackles, lots of dog piles, really. And, well, I'm surprised the players are favouring it, considering the ground conditions still be very wet from last night. Although they'd be trained to do this, and you do it a lot growing up. You want to get mud on you. In fact, sometimes you have to get mud on you. It's instructed by the coaches, depending on who's coaching you, of course. Ball tapped out here and spoiled by Cooper Brinkworth, just making sure it doesn't go anywhere. Umpire to throw it in. in the Shocks forward half. 18 minutes gone. High intensity one. Brilliant clearance work there from the Shocks. They get it out.
Nicely kicked towards half forward. Umpire says no, there was no interference, so there's no whistle. All I can do is I can see arms and legs and whatever's fall all over the place, and it's gone over for a boundary throw in. And we should mention too, this is really important. We've got the thongs. Like I can have those? It took a long time not to answer then. And you still haven't answered. You gave me nothing. My feet are freezing. My toes are just so cold.
I don't know if the thongs are going to help too much with that.
No, I agree. Here's a chance. Here's a run. Here's a kick. Down the ground towards the forward pocket. It bounces. I'm watching. I've got a crowd cover here who are helping me now. And the umpire says we'll bounce and we'll throw the ball in. A chance here for the deadlock to be broken. Running back and getting into a position there is number 16, Brad Noble. He stands in the square. He's waiting. Ball tapped in his direction. Umpire watches. No one's got it yet. He might blow the whistle unless it's a dead set free kick. Hand pass out one way the other to Pritchard. Kicked straight up in the air across the face of the goal front. Close to going out. Oh, that's a push from behind. Umpire's going to say nothing. He's going to say play on. No, he's going to say holding the ball. It was all for nothing. I was getting all excited for no reason. Big fat duck egg. And there will be a 50-minute penalty for doing the wrong thing. 1-1-7 shot. Prince Albert 1-1-7. 20 minutes gone in the first quarter.
Plenty of time gone by without a score at this stage. An early whistle comes in. Prince Alfred through Jack Trangrove. Need to practice their traversal game just a little bit more. It's been a massive scrap fest. You could tell that both of these teams probably got their players to swim through dump trucks throughout the week to practice in anticipation for this match, because that's what they're enduring through right now. A huge slog of an opening term. It finds its way back into the hands of Trangrove. It's going to continue, but it's going to be chopped out. And in fact, Alex Kailoto once again getting to defensive territory. He wants to go with his man and really play everywhere. He can swing to any key position required. Haven't seen him play too much ruck time, but he is a tall bloke. They continue through Henry McCullough. 1-on-1 though. Turned around, sided out a target. Tristan Kakuro wastes no time. He doesn't have the first, and unfortunately, Andrew Bradley will just happily see it over for a minus score and waste no time with the slingshot.
Well, that looked to be extreme that way. 1-1-7 to 1-1-7. It looks like it's going to be taken. Two of the better teams in this competition. Two of them that play the game so well, and that short distance kick was poor from Thiel. It's going to come back. Let's just I'll move a little bit before the blood selling the pies in front of me can start selling more. So, in towards half forward, not quite. Push and a shove. No one can grab hold of it. There's a good tackle. Umpire's going to do what? Oh, he's not going to call holding the man. Play on's the call. Picked up and kicked forward by Larson. In towards centre half forward, and it's marked in defence. They're coming out and taking a decent sort of a grab. Sacred Heart will relieve the pressure. The score is 1-1-7 to 1-1-7. That's what the scoreboard tells me. 23 minutes gone. And the first quarter Alex Carlotto kicked a goal in about 5 or 6 minutes into the game. So nothing much is happening, my friend.
No, not at the moment, and I think there's an extra point missing from that
I think you're right.
scoreboard because we saw one rushed over earlier, and we've seen another one rushed over here as two players collided into the post. Definitely one coming off much worse, and let's hope he's not too hurt from that collision because he's staying down, not in a hurry to get up, but eventually Tristan Carquero does at the very least make an attempt to get back up to his feet. Might just be a little bit winded from the collision, doesn't look too bad. So a bit of a sigh of relief there for no serious injury, because we have seen careers end from injuries related to the goalpost. We won't go into graphic detail now, but Prince Alfred finding a route now to get it back into the forward line. They've hit a target here with Craig Pitt. He goes forward, and I don't know how that happened, but his target managed to completely break from his man, had 10 metres on his own.
I think there'd be a bit of anger in the coaching panel because, as you've said, you drift off and all of a sudden you're there and you're still there and the ball's coming in your direction and you're a real chance to score a goal.
So Tyson Brazel, the one taking the set shot, disposed of his man, and he probably didn't even need to because he already had a good 10 metres away from him. Just a good structural play there. Can it be a good executed play too? It can! Third goal for the game, second for Prince Alfred.
About time. Well, we got a bit carried away with those that weren't scoring goals, remembering the first goal was kicked by Alex Carlotto. And then nothing happened for a period of time. And that goal, unfortunately too, as you were so accurately calling the goal, Lindy, we were able to, Indy, see that the guy who smashed into the goalpost is okay. Nasty to be able to hit the woodwork like that. But that's the goal that is almost quarter time. 25 minutes gone. 1-3 to 2-1. And we wait again for a start back in the middle. And that's the quarter time siren. I keep thinking to myself, give me something more than that. Blow it harder. They don't want to blow it harder. They don't have to. But it's quarter time. 1-3-9 shock to Prince Alfred. 2-1-13. I'll get you to just hit the goal kickers with me. And what I'll try and do is, the plan is at half time, we're going to see whether or not we can get out there and grab someone just for a quick chat. That's the good news. The bad news is that they don't know that we're going to go out there. But we'll see how we go. It's 2-1-13, Prince Alfred, to shock 1-3-9. Football at its best. We're enjoying it. I hope you are too. What have you got for stats? Have you got our goal scorers? Have you got information, my friend, telling us what's happening after the first quarter?
Well, Alex Carlotto, playing coach, kicked the one and only goal for Sacred Heart. And also Tyson Brazel kicking that late goal for Prince Alfred. So there was another goal kicker in there, I think, for Prince Alfred. I can't quite remember who that was from earlier on. It might have been, that's right, Joshua Garrels. So those are our three goal kickers for the match so far. Obviously not too much scoreboard impact early in that term, but it is only a 4-point game, so still up for grabs from anyone.
Very true. Repeating in the reserves, we had a win to shock 9-11-65, Prince Alfred 9-9-62. And I pose this question to you, Indy, that we haven't had a lot of scoring. We got some heavy rain last night. We know all that. But I went for a wander out onto the terra firma earlier on. The conditions are absolutely brilliant. They are. Immediately you look to the curator and you need to say, well done. You have produced this plot for a game of football and you deserve to be given that of the highest order. So there's not a lot happening despite the fact that we're seeing geographical substance from left, right and centre and pretty good stuff. 2-1-13 to 1-3-9. That's where we are. And as soon as the halftime score is sorted, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll run out during the half-time score.
Ooh, got to get a bit of a hustle in, Peter.
No, I think because I know John, who does brilliantly with the Dartfish Company, he's always looking for something different. And I think that's the way to go, to be able to get information from players from either sides, etc., talk to them. And so that'll be my go at half-time. I'll grab hold of the microphone and drag someone over here. You look like you're going to give me no help at all, by the way.
How could you tell?
Just a wild guess. But a good crowd here. Good crowd. All jumping about. I see the boss over there, Alex Carlotto. He's doing the yelling and getting himself organised. And, slow going, and it's hard for people to jump up and down and score a lot. It's 2-1-13 to 1-3-9 with the Prince Alfred just getting that late goal. Deserving the lead from your point of view? Do you think the better playing side so far of the two?
I wouldn't necessarily say there's been a defiantly superior side so far. I think it's more so just a case of which team's been able to get the traversal game going, because at this stage I don't think this game will be won or lost on centre clearances or even much of territory battle, but it's how you utilise that territory that really matters. And I just think Prince Alfred, with such great defensive men like Chris Curran, can really orchestrate a good coast-to-coast play, and their transition game is just much better at the moment compared to Sacred Heart, who definitely still have the quality to go with them, but will need to learn to really adapt to this blockade which Prince Alfred has created around them.
Yes, I can remember watching the Trengove train in action recently, and he was absolutely breathtaking, Jack Trengove. There was support that he received from Chris Curran, and the support that both of them received from Andrew Bradley, all former Glenelg players. And I just thought, whoever's going to beat this team is going to have to shut down the engine room, take the key and throw it in a reservoir if you go past the station, because they just looked so in control. But in this particular game, 3 goals. I'm still, scratching my noggin, because if you look back over the scores that these two sides have put on the board in the last few weeks, they've been belting the goal umpire up there is doing a hell of a lot of work, and just so even. Just not sure now as to which way this will go, even though, as we said, we've only just gone the one quarter. And don't forget, half-time. Got to get that microphone. Don't know how I'm going to get it out there and get it into the middle. I'll do that. No, it's all about trying to bring the information to the punter, and that's you, the punter, because we love being here. So if we can get information to you, we will. Have a look at the size, would you mind, of 24. Josh Garrell's down there. Some of these guys are big men. Let's kick off this start. Eddie Rogers in the second quarter. It's 2-1-13 to 1-3-9.
The Shocks getting the early clearance here off of the boot of what looked to be Clayton Simons, but it's going to go back the other way by the looks of things. Kick taken there by Craig Pitt. Chopped out, but crumbed by Curran. Neil on the outside. Wasn't able to quite get down and pick it back up. Reinforcements really loading in on the dog pile here. No whistle. Eventually the umpire steps in. He was willing to be pretty patient with that one. So ball thrown up back into play. St. Peter's this time with the tap. Well done by Bradley Noble as they continue to traverse. Forward 50 entry to the one-on-one. No mark taken by Karkiro despite his best efforts. And the Crummers misread the ball. They all overran themselves for that one. Now Andrew Bradley also really had to lock down. So we're back in forward territory for the Shocks here, but if the trends continue from the first quarter, they won't be able to find an easy route to score. Let's see if that changes. Neil with a two-handed tap down, if you don't mind. It's been cleared out here. but it hasn't been successfully crumbed yet. They're really trigger happy on the tackling pressure, and in this case it actually concedes a free kick against Jack Traingrove to Cooper Brinkworth. He liked the look of the pocket, I guess. No, he wanted to go all the way to the tip of the square. That kick bent all the way back. It didn't really matter though, because Chris Curran once again, really, he's got the duct tape back there, doesn't he?
Good player. I like him. He knows where he's at, and he puts his stamp and his authority on the contest, and in doing that, he brings his game face there all the time. No change to the score yet in this quarter. Bradley has the ball at half-back. Bradley kicks the ball, it bounces into the centre, hand pass, and holding the ball's the call. Bit too slow there, Cameron Pritchard had it, lost it. Ball kicked backwards, it'll be okay, it'll be taken in defence there by Sumner. Sumner's kicked wide towards the half-back line. But there's not a lot of length in the kicking of the two teams. What they're trying to do is across terra firma, try where possible to break clear and perhaps have a poke at the goals. They can break clear, but Trengove who had it. Umpire says play on. Short pass on the left boot in towards full forward. Bounces to the back of the pack. Over the shoulder. Surely, Mr. Umpire. Surely, Mr. Umpire. I would expect there that Oscar Lovelock, when he gets to his feet and screws his head back on. No! Oh, okay. Well, it's the umpire. I shouldn't be adjudicating. It looked like that might have been a call, not to be. There'll be a bounce now at centre half forward. 139 to 2-1-13, and news on Oscar Lovelock. The good news is, Indy, that his head's back on.
That's good. Everybody's got an intact head. That's what matters. That's the only way I could play a game of football. Not a super clean clearance, but the crumb might work. That's another high tackle attempt, and this time the umpire will pay it and give them a set shot opportunity. So it's interesting. I think the logic mostly orients around, did the player put himself in a position where it was inevitable, and did he try and put a little bit of mayonnaise on it? In this case, the umpire thought it was a legitimately incorrect tackle. Sam Laub will take the set shot. Flings a bit of grass up. Keeps his cool. Can he stay composed? He's got that right foot strapped. Looks as though he's leaning heavily towards that right foot, so we'll see if the strap benefits his routine. It doesn't. He's hooked it a little bit too far, and that takes them up to 1-4-10 to Prince Alfred's 2-1. It's a 3-point game here at Sacred Heart.
Yes, that's, well, I suppose one twist in the tail and one side not being able to break clear. Very low scoring game. Ball blasted back towards centre wing. No one can take the grab. Umpires watching the ball kicked out of the pack into towards centre half forward. Who's going to grab it? Hand pass is all right. That was from Macaulay into centre half forward. And he's just going to say, whoop. No hurry. Simons gets across and stands the mark. And the kick is around towards centre wing. A good mark too. Kick wobbles around towards centre wing, and it's Hartshorn who will take the mark. Now what's he going to do? Goes a short pass. Oh, that was always going to be a tough one to mark. Hand pass is not good. The kick isn't too bad. Back towards half forward. Good grab. Good mark taken there by Bradley. Bradley slides the hand pass forward. Kick towards centre half forward. No one can take the grab. Hand pass is all right. Blue leading in the race for the ball, but it's not going to be the case because we're going to see Prince Alfred snap just offline and through for one behind. The snap out of the pack from Oliver Clark. So we haven't had too much to get carried away because the big rap for the goal umpires before the game started. But they haven't had much to do. It's 1-4-10 to 2-1-13. Almost 7 minutes gone in the second quarter.
It's nice weather and a nice context of game to be a goal umpire right now. All the way from fullback, Seb Kerish elects the long kick out. It missed everyone. A whistle comes in for what looks like an infringement last touch rule, in fact. So it actually went over the boundary line. It'll come back into Prince Alfred's hands. They'll shoot it straight back into the arc. Spoiling attempt there from Brazil. And it's going to take it back over the line. So about 6.5 minutes gone, or just over now. You can see the beautiful Adelaide Hills in the background. The cars parked along the outer side of the fence. A couple of spectators over, although it's the sunnier side of the ground. You don't get as much shade down there. The players certainly don't. And the breeze is also just dialed down a little bit now. Those flags look very limp. Tapped back into play by Sean Tapp. That's why they have him in there. Ooh, the initial clearance attempt didn't go to plan, so Prince Alfred tried one of their own. It also didn't quite go to plan. Finds its way back into the hands of Kerish, but a great smothering attempt will keep it locked in this forward half for Prince Alfred as they lead just by 4 points.
Good gritty stuff there in defence and almost taking the mark down there. Craig Pitt, he said, "I'll have another go if you don't mind." He was at the contest and wasn't able to grab it in the finish. From the boundary throw in. Umpire is watching and holding the ball call. I love it when we're a distance away. We're probably 3 postcodes away and the umpire can have a look and can make a judgment, and in making a judgment can say free kick. Nobody argues, which is a good thing. So a shot at goal. Prince Alfred haven't had too much to get too carried away. They've kicked 2 goals as a fluffy dog goes by. To 1-4-10, 2-1-13. And this shot at goal from about 35 to 40 metres out. And from a distance here, I'm reckoning it's going to be on the left boot. It is. Is it close? It is. Is it very close? It is. It's a goal. Now there's a lot of slap, if you don't mind. Good work for you. 31 gets across and 19 is our man. 19, Jaden Davis, who had 13 goals in the competition before this game. That was a good kick too. A left footer, and he stuffed it right through the middle. And at last there is a goal, 3-1-19 to 1-4-10. And he looked as if he was in total control with kicking that one.
Yes, set shot opportunities have been rare in this game, but if you can harness them and make the most of them when they count, they'll go long ways to potentially establish a little bit more dominance over this game. Still only a 9-point margin. Jolly passes it out. Macaulay got the clearance off. Oh, what about that for an over-the-top mark? Oliver Clark managed to soar over the pack there. Not quite a specky, but a really well-timed leap. And a dart out to Tyson Brazil to top it all off. The missing ingredients, the goal. This would be really handy and probably the quickest turnaround for a goal in this match so far, I reckon.
It's about time.
Starting to get more of that vintage Prince Alfred footy brand back on their terms as we get to the 10-minute mark. Brazil starts his run up from outside the arc. Players trying to throw him off and ultimately successful. He didn't quite connect with the Sharon as he would have liked there. Didn't get much spinning action on it. It just kind of awkwardly floated. So it's only a minor score and only a 10-point margin. Still 2 goals in this Make Sure Ratify sponsored broadcast game for Adelaide Footy League.
These two sides, you would expect, would be figuring in the finish down the track. I mean, it's only early days, but they play the game well. And as we're speaking, they hit targets too. Mark taken there by Clayton Simons. He kicks across the goal face. Oh, this could be trouble. Fortunately not. Had the required distance. And the clearance comes back towards centre wing and goes over for a throw in. He looked like, no, it's last touch, so they'll bring the ball back to Trengove, who marks at centre wing out of side. He goes the short pass, kicks very well. Chris Curran in the middle. Curran ready to kick it a long way. He does just that towards half forward. 22 up, takes the grab. That's a decent sort of a grab there. Tyson Brazil He let high, dragged it down. And if it was the Sharon, he tucked it to his tummy. And he said, I'm ready for this one. But I don't think he could kick it from there. I don't think so. He would have to be 50. There's a big tree behind him that's not doing much. What's he going to do? You're going to try.
Absolutely.
He's taking time. Come on, kick the ball. He's kicked it a fair way. Kicked it a fair way. Just offline. Let's wait. Just offline. Gee, I tell you what. There you go. That a hoof and a half. It's 3-4-22 to 1-4-10. And we've gone 12 minutes of the second quarter.
Joel Cross. Another scoring opportunity gone wayward, but by the logic now, they are still up by 2 goals. And with the crumb creative from Mazzini, it's going to come back into Prince Alfred's hands, or at least into their territory. Oliver Clark forces his man to the turf with the Sharon in hand. 2-goal game here. The scoreboard reads 1-4-3-4. Ugh, he's desperate to get it out there, Nick Forster. Rushed out by Seb Kerish, kicks towards the corridor, which they haven't been able to get much transition out of, but maybe time calls for a bit more ambition. What a tackle that was from Patrick McCarthy, once again taking his man straight to turf. The umpire decided to reward the tackle with a free kick, holding the ball. Claimed his opponent had a prior opportunity. He looks forward. He kicks forward. Can he side it out to a good option? He sided it out to the numbers. Unfortunately, no one came down with the mark, and now Prince Alfred, with the superior crumbing game, can get out of trouble. They might not get out of trouble. What will the umpire make of this? Just a simple ball up, and probably the safest call you could have made, and the fairest. But a bit of tension was definitely building around that one. So now, ball to be thrown back up. Big thump out there from Kayaloto. So he is doing a little bit of ruck work. So he's playing everywhere that a key position player could. Oh, flicked out. Back into the hands of Kerish. He's had a bit of involvement in this second quarter. Off the left, hit the pack. First to crumb it, though, was William Charlick. Trying to chain link some hand passes, but it falls back into opposition hands. Now with a low percentage shot. In fact, that looked more like a setup from Sam Lorb. It didn't favour any teammate, though. Unfortunately, it fell back into the hands of opposition, and we're back to square one from full back for Prince Alfred.
Yes, it's been all over the shop like a bad woman's breakfast. Kick by Trengove, wobbles around towards the half-back line. Both sides are really trying, but unfortunately, they just can't score. So running down the ground, Wildman. In towards centre-half forward, good kick. Now some movement. At last the movement. It's 1-4 to 3-4. 2 goals the difference. Kick back towards the centre of the ground. It bounces. Umpire watches. And there will be a bounce. You get a bit excited and think to yourself, who's going to get a goal? And then you think to yourself, I hope someone is. We'll try and get a reaction at half time. That'll be the possibility. There's a drag over the shoulder. In towards centre half forward. Trengove marks. It's just backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. And he's going to kick the long way. He does. Around towards centre wing. Off the back of the pack. Hand pass comes wide. Bounces towards where the boundary umpire is watching. And is going to have some work to do in a minute. The ball kicked in towards centre half forward. Snap out of the shoulder. Let's have a look. Umpire's going to say behind only. Gee, that was close. A snap there by Tyson Brazel and through for behind. So what's the score now? Let's have a look. 1-4-10 to 3-5-23, and we've gone 17 minutes of this quarter.
Well, at the very least, it's a useful point. Takes them up above the echelon of 2 goals. It'll take more than 2 straight kicks, that's for sure. And they haven't been able to put together consecutive straight kicks to get from defensive 50 to forward 50 comfortably, although Cooper Brinkworth, with the kick-in duties, has been having a good quarter, to be fair. On that trusty left, he goes long, but it's marked. Is that Chris Curran or Jack Trangrove? It's Chris Curran. Similar hairdos, but Curran loves his defensive time, and he's really just dominating them back there right now. And what a kick into the forward line that was too. Just shy of the boundary line. He hits it out to Joshua Gurrells, who can kick his second goal. No, he decides to selflessly hand it off, but it's not a 15-metre kick. So Campbell Wildman's going to be wrapped up, and that's a missed set shot opportunity there. Ball will have to be thrown back into play instead. They're going to have to earn a goal the hard way now, Prince Alfred. And they're not going to get a chance to here. The free kick gives the ball back to Alex Kaioloto. What can the playing coach conjure up for his side?
Hope he's got enough energy to talk to us at half-time. We'll see. Hopeful of getting a reaction from one of the players from one of the two teams. Just a bit of an idea bringing into our coverage as to what their thoughts are. We haven't told them yet, so we'll just keep our fingers crossed. That's Kalotto who's got the ball, kicked the first goal of the game. Gee, was good to watch last night in action. He was a super leader and really had the troops revelling and thinking about, we've got to win this game tomorrow. Well, there's not much in it. 3-5 to 1-4. So adds at half time and then hopefully a grab. 3-5 to 1-4. And the one who's kicked a couple of goals, Jaden Davis, has kicked a couple. We're just got to see where the ball is now. There's a few who are sitting there in front of where we are. Can you get them to move, please, Indy? Just get them out of the way. They're comfortable. So they should be. Here's a chance for run and gun. Chance for possibilities of kicking the ball forward. The ball goes as well. Well done too. That's Davis out there on the left boot. Kicks long in towards centre half forward. Oh, well done. Good mark in defence. Taken down there by Harrison Morgan. Score check. 3-5-23. That's Prince Alfred. Shocker 1-4-10. We've gone almost 19 minutes in the second term.
Choppy kick on the broadcasting side wing. Chris Curran's going to take it again. He's going to work with Neil. They link together some more hand passes. They've got a chain going. Now kicked in this time by McNamara. His man might have been held off the ball. He was. This is going to get them a set shot opportunity again. And it's Tyson Brazel who could kick his second. So set shot opportunities rare in this game. Prince Alfred have been taking them. Hopefully he doesn't try to dish this one off like the one that Garrels took earlier. Although to be fair, that was on a lower percentage angle. Still nice overcast, but just shy of completely blocking the sun type of weather. Everybody curiously watching on, including the fluffy dog at the other side of the oval. He's particularly intrigued. He probably wants to get his hands on the Sharon himself, or his jaw, I should say. Tyson Brazel looking for goal number 2 to be the first multi-goal kicker of the game. He is. You could put that one down in the papers. 2 goals for Tyson Brazel. That takes them up even further by 19 points. 1 goals 4-10, 4 goals 5-29. You're watching the Adelaide Footy League live stream brought to you by Make Sure Ratify.
It's a big lead when you think about a smallish scoreboard. It's 4-5-29 to 1-4-9. So that's 5 scoring shots to Shock and 9 scoring shots to Prince Alfred. And think about the fact that the Big Alex kicked that early goal, but they just haven't been able to get away and create a bit of space, give them some room to move. At halftime, we'll have our advertisements, our ads, etc., and then hopefully get a reaction. And the reaction, the way it's working now, will come from Prince Alfred because they're the ones that are doing this, doing the right things, creating a bit of space. And you've got to say too, we scratched out some better players, which we will do, Indy, a little later on. Most of them would belong to the side that's in front at the moment.
Absolutely. But they're not out of it yet. 19 points down. Just over the 21-minute mark. Was that kick smothered? It might have been just chipped a little bit off the fingers. So Tom McDermott still manages to at least get an effective disposal off because Oscar Lovelock with a pair of other teammates was able to make it work. They get into forward territory, but once again, Prince Alfred with the blockade. Not this time, though. Shot at goal was low percentage and didn't even make the distance in this case. Mackenzie Slee from fullback decides to run his course. And that was a nice starting kick to a teammate in hand. Chris Curran now. He's racking up the marking numbers, that's for sure. He could be a league leader in that statistic. Another cross kick. That one just hit the man lace out and also just made the required 15. Now it finds its way into the hands of Charlick, but that one's turned over. It's been picked off by Simons. He hits a target. That's the type of turnover that the Shocks have been waiting to cause. Can they penalise them on the execution? Tristan Karkiro, the man with the keys now. Kicking towards the building side of the ground, the club room end. And that kick was started and finished offline. Simply a minor score, 11 points to 29. You're with Peter Walsh.
Yeah, disappointment, the real chance. And unfortunately, no appearance, your worship, from Rob Tanish and Chris May, who are the two goal umpires. And so that, let's have a look, 4-5-29 to 1-5-11. That's 9-2. It's a big lead, but it's not insurmountable. They just at the moment are really struggling. In the first quarter, I just kicked one goal, and that first goal was kicked about 5 minutes into the game. Nothing your appearance, your worship, since then. Now there's a scramble from where we are a fair distance away, and the umpire calls for it, and there's a bit of finger pointing going. Be 10 or a dozen at least who are around the ball that's tossed in the air. Umpire watches and says, let's do it again. A few people having a quiet tinny, they're frothy at the footy, that's all right. Go along there, but, do the right thing, enjoy yourself, meet with your mates, speak with friends, have a quiet one, nothing wrong with that. And it's good, it's social interaction at sport. If you're doing the right thing, you can't have anything wrong with that. And they're getting the sort of sport and the sort of spectators that you want at the football that we're enjoying. Not enduring, we're enjoying it. And this game now is being enjoyed by all and sundry. As McDermott on the left boot, the kick smothered off the boot. It's just going absolutely nowhere at the moment. On the bottom of the pack there, Chris Curran, number 5, tried to get to his feet. Knocked out of the way by their McDermott, number 7, who couldn't get up. And it'll be, let's do it again, fellas. 24.5 minutes gone. Don't forget, we'll have some commercial breaks during the halftime break, and then hopefully get across and get a reaction from one of the players.
Ooh, late fly from Luke McCauley there just to end the second quarter, but it's a way to end what was another scrappy turn, but also a really good one from Prince Alfred. They harnessed their set shot opportunities, and I reckon Peter Walsh is ready to go on a hike, and he's ready to venture out and find a faithful man to bring back into the box. So we're going to go to an ad break now, but it's half-time, 1 goals 5-11 to 4 goals 5-29. Sacred Heart against Prince Alfred. Prince Alfred leading. You're with the Make Sure Ratify streaming team with Indiana Rogers and Peter Walsh.
9 News, teaming up with the Adelaide Footy League. Tom Wren on the ground at your club for Thursday Night Live, strengthening communities through footy.
Well, folks, we're down here at the Banner Crew. Our friend, supporter and sponsor of Between the Posts has joined us. Welcome, Jason Goods.
Thanks, Tony. Nice to be with you.
What can the people out there expect to buy from the Banner Crew and get looked after?
Pretty much anything that you can put your club logo on or a message from the club, whether it be, like you mentioned, a marquee or a flag or an A-frame or a banner, a stubby holder, a pen, anything like that, anything that you can pop the club branding on. Everything's customisable. So basically we've got an in-house design department with 2 graphic designers that can work toward getting the message across that you're after.
We're down here at 318 to 326 St Vincent Street, Port Adelaide. Jason, thank you so much for your support.
one of the significant attempts is going to be during our coverage every weekend to bring to you the personalities during the halftime break. Alex Colotto was going to be that personality who was brought during the halftime break, but I can say through no fault of his own, the club got off in a heck of a hurry. They raced into the rooms and locked the doors, which is okay, they can do that, but rest assured each week there will be a possibility for us to talk up close and personal to those who are playing the game. Didn't happen this week. Guess what? It'll happen soon. Thank you.
Welcome back to Percy Street. It's half-time here at Sacred Hearts, and right now, with the home team trailing by 18 points, it's definitely a bit of a tough game to fight out at the moment. The teams have gotten back out there, and as Peter said at half-time, well, they locked the doors because clearly there might be a bit of an urgency state going on with the mindset of at least one of these teams right now, but maybe even both of them. I'm not sure Prince Alfred would be overly thrilled with that first half. They're leading without a doubt, but there is room for improvement.
I've got some issues. I really do. I don't want this game to be a blowout. I don't want a game now to run right away and win comprehensively. If that's going to be the case, it's not going to be Sacred Heart. And when we saw at the start of the game, Indy, when Carlotto kicked that early goal and you thought, this will be good, this game has gradually crept away out of the tentacles of Sacred Heart, who now need to find something. Now, we'll have to be the adjudicators for the giveaways at the end of the game. And if you're looking at who's going to do really well, maybe they might be players from Prince Alfred. Not too sure. Things can happen. I understand all that. But as we now to our left, we can just see standing there and wandering away and getting themselves organised. Both teams ready for the second half. I want the game to be better. I don't want to be walking around feeling cold. I want it to be better. And so do the crowd, because there's a reasonable gathering here, sitting on the rugs, getting themselves organised. They want the game to be better as well. They don't want an 18-point game at the finish. What have you spotted?
I've spotted that the flags have picked right back up. A cold breeze has hit the ground again, and it looks as though it's once again a crosswind blowing to the far side, so shouldn't favour one goal end or the other, but it probably means we'll see a lot more of the ball on the opposite end of the broadcasting wing.
And one of my favourite players, only because I've only met him once, that's Alex Carlotto, who was really good with us yesterday talking about how important these games were. He didn't mess around in the half-time break. Let's go with this second half action. It's Prince Alfred leading by 18 points.
Desperate to get it out of the middle there. Thiele lost it. It's come to the outer side. It's going Sacred Heart's direction. Lovelock isn't going to beat the boundary there. That's not going to be called last touch, I think, because there must have been some sort of ricochet with the pass. So if Sacred Heart want to get back into this game, they need to assert some sort of early dominance in this third term. They do call it the Premiership quarter at times, and we're a fair way off of that Premiership deciding game for a couple months worth, but this game today could be a big confidence booster. That's without a doubt. Was that again with pushing up the ground? It doesn't matter because Patrick McCarthy with a big hit off two key position defenders in that instance. That's a difficult task, but he stood tall. He took a set shot opportunity and kicked the gear straight back into action. They've been getting rusty, haven't they?
Yes, this is a do or die, and let's see if we can do the right thing out of this third quarter.
Execute the kick. Let's sail. And only wobbles through for a minor score. Takes the margin back down to 17 points. And Peter Walsh is your caller.
It's cold here. I just thought I'd tell you. I went for a walk and I ran for about 14 steps, then stopped. But it's quite fresh over the back as we see. There is a leap and a half from Cooper Brinkworth. And let's go into... what's the umpire going to do? Did he play that as a mark? Oh, he must have. So he's got the ball. Early stages, third quarter. It's a little bit on the dark side. We might have to turn the lights on in our pie stall because it's a little bit dark here. Ball back towards centre wing and there'll be a fresh start. I've never been in this pie stall before during a game and it is a little bit dark. You agree?
Yeah, but the light above us is a nice saviour.
Oh, that's very religious, that light above us is a nice saviour. I like that. Ball in the air. The ball's at half forward. Hand pass is all right. Kick in towards full forward. Does it clear the pack? It didn't. Running back there was Mitchell Fee, but it's gone over the boundary line. Let's have a look and see. Just trying to work out who's doing what. Going down there is Tom McDermott, number 7. He's right for the ball to come back into play. Early stages, third quarter. You need a garage sale and you need to buy a goal. That's what you need. Boundary umpire is close and there'll be another fresh start. So let's have a look. 4-5-29 to 1-6-12. Prince Alfred lead by that margin of 17 points. In this quarter, we have gone 3 minutes.
So the coffin definitely isn't shut, but Sacred Heart just not putting in the back energy to quite climb out of it at the moment. Still a fair hole to get out of. And taking a look here. Could this be Tyson Brazel's third goal? It would be his most difficult. Not a probable angle. Had to start the runner from outside the arc, so probably not a super probable distance either. But his skills defy the odds. He doesn't care. He's got his third goal.
Is there a pulse?
It's fading. 1 goal 6 to 5 goals 5, 12 to 35. Prince Alfred with the jump. This is the Make Sure Ratify stream team with Indiana Rogers and Peter Walsh.
Well done to those who have organised the curating for this magnificent stadium. I know it hasn't got a roof or anything as such. You don't have to have a roof on a stadium, but this is quite magnificent. And for those that are responsible, well done. What can happen now is we see a bit of a throw out of the middle. No one can do whatever's necessary. Taken there by Duncan. Down the grounder, centre half forward. Short pass on. Will bounce. The big man down there is Colotto. He's doing the chasing. It's going close to the boundary line. And over for a throw in. A neat little scoreboard over there, isn't it? It's got the time in the quarters and the quarter itself and the scores for the two teams. Shock 1-6-12. Prince Alfred 5-5-35. I can smell a goal. The nostrils are filling up with a snap at goal. Something is going to happen. One just gets a feeling that this game not just continue to meander on. From the throw in, it's a decent sort of a tackle down there. Terra Firma moves. And I know we're close to down the road Marion, but that was a certain tackle that really thudded into everybody. Now there's the kick that didn't go too far towards where the boundary line is on the half-back line. Pick up and kick in towards the true centre half forward position. I'm just watching for half a dozen players who are all running near the distance. Now the left boot to ball. Lotto gets up for the big man. The big Lotto man almost took a grab. Fell to the turf, couldn't quite do so, and there will be another start. Good strong stuff. 1-6-12 to 5-5-35. 6 gone in this quarter, which is creating a little bit more interest.
Time isn't necessarily running out too soon, but based on the current goal to time rate that they're having, they need to speed things up, that's for sure. Set shot opportunity here. Prince Alfred had converted theirs. Can Harry Morgan deliver on his own part? That's another wayward wobbling ball, but it's actually gone through the middle. The spin was awkward. The goal umpire, contemplated, but was happy with the final result. So Sacred Heart break the drought. That's about 3 consecutive goals that they've conceded now without getting one of their own. So they've hit back finally, just under 7 minutes into the third term. 12 points to 35, 18 points to 35, just getting the update there. And you're with Peter Walsh for the Make Sure Ratify stream.
Bit of noise too from those who put down their thermoses full of coffee and thought, yep, Let's just see whether or not our team can become a little bit more involved. 2-6-18 to 5-5-35. Ball thrown in the air to start proceedings. No one can gather. Umpire is across and says, "I'll go, fellas." And there will be a fresh start. There's Andrew Bradley, number 23 in there. Near the ball. Couldn't quite get it away. Hacked out of the middle. Number 29 getting the ball where McRae in towards centre half forward. Bouncers. Hand pass there. Chris Curran's down there. They're all having a shot at it. No one can break clear. And the umpire has decided to do what? He's decided to say, we'll throw it in the air. Let's have a look in this quarter now. We've got 8 minutes. And chance for, all of a sudden, Sacred Heart to display a bit of feeling and see whether or not they can come back into this game. It could take a while, but at least they've got a goal in this term, much to the chagrin of the opposition, and the game tightening up just a fraction.
Well, goal apiece in the term isn't uncommon in this match's context, but it's actually being able to pile on more than that in a quarter. It's been uncharacteristic so far. That was a big kick. The mark will be paid. Clayton Simons did what he could, but unfortunately there's also a 25-metre penalty here. So Matthew Mazzini hands it off to Jolly. The big man lets off a big ripping kick. His target had front position. It looked like there was an early whistle. It doesn't matter. It's gone forward now. Urgent time for the Shocks. Can they get out of trouble? Brinkworth, with the help of some teammates, goes back down the corridor with a bit of a risky kick. They've got the numbers, but the tackling pressure from Sumner was immense. They'll get it back, though. It might not have been a legal tackle. Tom McDermott, down forward. It passes all of them to goal side. Tristan Carcuro barrels it through across the deck. And for the first time, Sacred Heart get consecutive goals in this match.
They did it well, too. And you could get the feel from those who are from the sidelines cheering and chanting, and they were doing just that during the half-time break. And you can establish a bit of a roll. I wonder whether or not this roll can continue. 3-6-24 to 5-5-35. 10.5 minutes gone. So in this quarter, we've seen some action, and you start to feel as if there's a bit more action that's going to come our way. It's a big result, and if you look from where we are in our pie stall, and you look above that, and there's, I think, hot dogs up above, there's absolutely everything here. What we're getting is, we're getting the noise of a side that is saying we can get back into this game. Jordan Neal, he's too slow out of the pack. Hand pass comes out of trouble. That's all right. 35 kick down towards half forward. Out of the pack. Number 19. That's Davis. In towards full forward. Davis. He's kicked a goal. Well, he's given that the hoof and high, and that's gone through for a goal. So I can't believe all this, India. They're getting goals and goals and goals. Davis kicks a goal. 6-5-41 to 3-6-24. We've gone some 12 minutes.
11 minutes passed, and at the moment, a 17-point margin, probably not too reflective of the state of this quarter. A little bit more steam on the scoreboard now. The rust of the gears has come off a little bit, but still struggling to get right back into this game. The instant reply from Jaden Davis, really good though. We take the ball back into the centre now. Next goal, crucial for the momentum of this match, you feel. Could be game determining. Umpire's going to call ball up here. Probably a fair option because Oscar Lovelock made sure his head was applicable for that high tackle. Neal with the tap. Sacred Heart unable to get it out of trouble. Jolly gets the double-handed tap down, but it didn't go to his teammates as anticipated. A whistle's coming back here for what looks to be an incorrect disposal. And that could even be a 25-metre penalty for the fact that the kick and clearance kick was taken after the initial call was made. So this will hurt. This will be a set shot opportunity for Prince Alfred. Mitchell Thiele, the one taking it. No, he hands it off to Jolly, because Jolly liked the look of his own chances. It didn't make the distance. All sorts of players scrapping on the last line of defense. It doesn't even go through for a minor score, but it might now, maybe even a major one, as it comes back to Charlick. He chips it short to Lachlan McNamara, who we haven't seen too much of today, the skipper, but this could definitely be his moment.
Fair distance out, but just a momentum swing. All of a sudden, you get the feeling that even though the game hasn't really tightened up immensely, there's 9 goals have been kicked now and hardly any in the first half.
So to undo all of Sacred Heart's efforts, take themselves up by 23, and for McNamara to hit the scoreboard. A moment to define his leadership, not in this instance, because it definitely isn't representative of that behind. It's much better than that. This game's still poised in a position where it could still be overtaken.
And it's getting a little cooler, just a little bit fresh. Let's hope that the conditions stay as is, as we see the ball kicked by Tap down towards centre wing. The target there was Caruso. He's taken the ground. Umpire says what? He says play on. Now there's a free kick. Now there's to be a what? Well, he's caught him, so is he going to pay advantage down the ground? Must be. Man there taken to ground was Charlick. And he, in effect, gave the ball across towards Pitt. Pitt into the forward pocket, but it's kicked away. From over here, I think it might have come off the boot, and there might be a free kick, but from where we are, it's a little bit hard to just be all that certain that Victor Harbour is where the ball didn't go. Probably boundary throw in. Chance of something to happen. A real chance for something to happen. 39 kicks to full forward. Well done. Good grad down the ground. Mitchell Thiele. And there's a beefsteak, if you don't mind. You walk around. You've got to be called a beefsteak if you take the ball with one hand and you walk away with it, and then you turn around and your name is Tyson Brazel, who's just kept on kicking goals. He's kicked 3. And Tyson Brazel. This to be important. Go Brazel. Go Bees the call. Brazel in, wobbles. Gets close to the man on the mark. Kicks well, kicks pretty well. Home you go, he says. Brazel has kicked a goal, and that's a goal where you needed to have the side that was losing a little bit of the momentum in Prince Alfred. They've got it back now, 7-6-48 to 3-6-24 in 17 minutes. We're at half time there. Indy, we're talking about, we hope these blokes get going a bit. Come on, it's a bit slow. And come on, you, have a go out there, will you? Have a go. But they are having a go.
Well, they got a handy jump once again. 24 points is difficult to overcome in any game of football, but definitely not impossible. Neil got the tap, although it didn't really hit out to intended advantage. It'll be another ball up in the centre square, just shy of the centre circle. Tapped out there by Kyle Otto, who's doing some ruck work. He needs to lead from the very centre at the moment by the looks. Whistle will be coming back. Sacred Heart wanted to play to advantage, but it not to be. Cleared out. Can they conjure a score from this? Long kick and a fantastic mark. Kyle Otto just got down into the forward line. He's been everywhere. First in the ruck, now back into the forward. This would be a playing coach's goal if he can get it through. It's worth noting that Clayton Simons is actually labelled the captain. Alex Kaiolotto is labelled the playing coach. So we got 2 leaders out there of different varieties, different breeds, if you will. Alex Kaiolotto. Can he convert? Not quite. Fell short of the distance, and the Prince Alfred defenders were more than happy to just hammer it over the line. It's back to 23 points in your with Peter Walsh.
It's been a good third quarter, this one. A quarter where, as the commentary team who sit in our tent you get involved if there's a bit more oomph being displayed, and that's the case. That's not a bad kick into play. Over the shoulder, a good, strong, bold effort there by Tommy McDermott, who got a slap round the chops, but he's all right. And he gets back and gets into a steadying spot. Sprinting back there is Mackenzie Slee, who gets to centre half forward. 18 minutes gone in the term. 7-6-48 to 3-7-25. Throw in. Bounce and a twist and a good tackle. Umpire says no play on. Still no whistle. They're all having a go all right. Arms and legs and everything's having a swing. Will it bounce clear? Looking for players to pick the ball up. They're all having a go. Is that over the shoulder, Mr. Umpire? Surely Oscar Lovelock, he was bold and brave, was he not? Didn't get a free kick, but he really did all the hard yards. 30 out from goal, and we've gone some 19 minutes of this quarter.
Oscar Lovelock to take the set shot.
He lost his head then.
Kicking back into gear. The rust is returning. But so is the accuracy to counteract it. Sacred Heart refusing to go down. Oscar Lovelock coming to the bench now as a reward for that well-earned goal. And we're approaching the 19-minute mark. Still plenty of football to be played in this quarter, plus some. But to be within 17 points at least keeps you not in a winning position, but in a position where you're not out of it.
No, that's a good point. There is to be a change. Number 44, sprinting onto the ground, Cameron Pritchard, who's gone into a defensive role. And a few of them just sucking in a bit of air after those efforts to get access to the pill. 7-6-48, 4-7-31, 17 points the difference. 20 minutes gone in the term. Another goal would be just so good. Throw in. I'm only going to call that bloke down there Jason Ackermanis. He looks a little bit like him. He got to his feet now. There's a few lookalikes. And there's to be a Shepherd. And there will be a free kick, and the free kick will go to Prince Alfred. What are they going to do? Can they bring the ball down in a hurry, because we've gone 20 minutes in this term? Ball towards half forward. No one can take it. It bounces. Loose ball over there, chasing back over there. I just jump on over there. It's a bit hard to know who's doing what. Umpire will tell us. Good on you umpires too. Binning and Kane, assisted by Scarman and Simpson and Tainch and May, and they're doing a mighty job. Ball at centre half forward. Neatly picked up there by Duncan, back towards the centre of the ground. But here's it. Oh, there's a decent tackle. The bloke who just came on, Cameron Pritchard, he just got knocked off his socks. And now there's a free kick downfield for a holding the man, and Trengove gets the free kick. Now, there's a player down, they're going to check him out. But it'll be Trengove who has the free kick at the 22-minute mark of this term. 7-6-48 to 4-7-31. And there's a little bit of collateral damage down there.
It's Patrick McCarthy, in fact, who's sustained the injury.
He got whacked, didn't he?
He did. Back to his feet now. He'll need to be escorted off. He looks groggy.
Well,
Really be hoping he could get back up, because while he hasn't had a lot of scoreboard impact today, it would still be really useful to get a bit more tall presence back into the side, because they really need that right now.
well, his bones are a bit on the shaky side because he got crunched in a fair tackle. I don't want to make it sound as if it was out of the ordinary, but when you cop like that and you really aren't waiting for it, it just happens.
Well, the minor positive out of this circumstance is that at the very least, the Sacred Heart defenders will be able to set up behind the ball now without too much of a hurry. We'll see if that reflects on the structure. It's Jack Trangrove. No, he takes a safe kick and manages to find Joshua Garrels. He wants to go all the way down into the forward line. Past the muddy pitch, but not able to surpass the blockade of Sacred Heart defenders. Nifty little hand pass by Duncan. Fans calling for a free kick here, as you probably could have picked up on the mic. They're projection it, but that's good. It's good to have passion. Oh, bit of tackling effort off the ball there. It doesn't matter. Play resumes. Craig Pitt ran into trouble, but managed to find Andrew Bradley. He gets it to Traingrove. That's an awkward kick to the side, but it might still sit up well for Wildman. He chips a short one. Once again, not lace out, but just enough to keep it in possession. That's a high ball. No one's going to be able to win that, surely. McNamara back to Traingrove on his left. He sights it out to the forward line. A good fist coming in there from Dewhurst late. And the Sharon beats everybody to the boundary line. The umpire will have to throw it back in.
Yeah, and the lady there, she was calling out, and she was calling out some religious things. She didn't mean anything. She just was saying things because it was the football that she was at, and she was expressing a frustration. I've got no issue with that. All she did was she expressed a frustration, so she's being left the ground now. She hasn't been. She's there and she's allowed to be involved. Of course you are. It's a group of 4 of us that are just out in front of where we are, in front of the pie stall, and there's a guy and his lovely wife with a couple of chairs and another one sitting there. They're there at the footy. How good is it? How good is it to be at the football? Very close to three-quarter time. We've gone 24 and a half minutes, and we're very close to three-quarter time. The ball is about 20 metres out from goal. The umpires getting themselves organised, and the players are a little bit, I'd say, on the weary side. Ball tapped, didn't go far. Trying to watch to see if anybody's doing anything of substance, and the answer is simple: no. Just a scramble. 25 minutes gone in the term. It's 4-7-31 to 7-6-48. See what you can do for us, Indy.
Well, depends what Prince Alfred could do here while the ball's in their territory. Lachlan McNamara hasn't had too much involvement today as the skipper, but plenty of other leaders to step up around him, and surely his off-field leadership would be part of the reason for that. That was a good tackle from Jack Traingrove. Umpire was willing to be patient with it, and ultimately no reward out of it, though. It will just be a simple ball up back into play. Body's getting down there. Traingrove with another tackle. Hand pass there from Tapp. McNamara gets involved. Managed to get it off to the right man. Charlick. Wildman runs into trouble. Is that Traingrove again? He's getting involved in everything. He's trying his best, and I think the fans are hopefully anticipating this ball to get out of their defensive 50, but whether that's through a score, taking it back to the centre, or clever traversal play, we don't know yet.
26 minutes having elapsed before the siren that has got no batteries in it. Well, look at the players lined up there. What's going on?
Someone's hurt.
It must be. They're all lining up in aisles. We're waiting to see what's going on. Not sure what the story is. One of the trainers is out there talking, and we've got Pitt, number 4. Number 13 down there is Doug Proud, who's in the blue. And the player is being helped away by the staff.
Joel Cross is the player.
Joel Cross. We haven't called him a lot to, and he is a really good player. Number 19. Now, what's going to happen? The ball thrown into play. Ball tapped away, doesn't go too far. There's the look-alike Ackermanis got near the ball. Kicked away clearly. It'll go back towards the centre of the ground. There's a free kick. Umpire is not going to stop. Well.
Played to advantage.
He did. Chance now for Davis. He ran after it, kicked the ball in towards the forward pocket. Taking the ball and taking the tackle is Duncan. And there will be another boundary throw in. So 27 minutes gone in the term. A quarter where we've had a few goals, but we've still got Prince Alfred leading 7-6-48 to shock 4-7-31, almost three-quarter time.
It's getting close towards that time now, and these players will probably be feeling anxious to get to that three-quarter time break and reset, because it's been stuck in this defensive 50. Not really reflective of the increased pace of the game in this quarter. Score attempt here, not quite marked out, but McNamara on the line gets a late one. After all the defensive effort from Sacred Heart, that definitely would hurt just a little bit. Takes them back up to a 23-point margin.
Disappointment and frustrations for Sacred Heart, and well played too. McNamara got himself going, changed gears, and he had the speed and also the ability to be able to bring that ball back and kick them to a lead where you'd think that's just about going to be big enough. We're seeing Tommy Sumner, who's charging onto the ground, another tall, timbered player. And I'd reckon we've only got a minute to go before three-quarter time. A minute to go. Is there going to be a score before three-quarter time? Kick from Sacred Heart in towards the half-forward line. A few beads of perspiration, spit in the air. Both teams very strong and powerful at the contest, but no one can drag it away. Umpire is going to say, my ball. So we're going to get ourselves organised. Running back there is Brad Noble, number 16. He's defending with the siren about to end for the third quarter. 4-7 to 8-6. Prince Alfred leading.
Trying to get out of trouble here. Did Sacred Heart sneak in one more? Brinkworth gets it off to a teammate. That's a high ball. Last line of defense prevails though. Chris Curran, who else? This man's got duct tape, police tape, you name it. He can really glue things together back there. He's done that again in this instance. That could just about save them a late goal that could have kept Sacred Heart in the game, but instead the mountain remains quite high, maybe too high. Prince Alfred getting out of trouble here as they find a safe mark with Riley Davis. Entry into the team. He was actually a late entry into the team. Wasn't listed on the team sheet on Thursday, but was this morning. One of two Davis players out there, of course. Another mark taken here by the other Davis of conversation, Jaden. Bit of a shove off the ball. Play resumes. And low percentage shot from Lachlan McNamara. In fact, completely missed the goals. It's come back into Sacred Heart's hands. The only thing they should do from here is not concede another score. Bradley Noble with the ball in hand. Comes into Nick Forster's arms. He chips it further. They get goal side for Oscar Lovelock, but now he's going to have to wrestle back to it. It didn't quite set up for him. Late help coming in from Brinkworth, but not in time to beat the boundary line. And that might just take us to the end of the quarter, although time continues to tick.
Well, we've gone 30 minutes and 37 seconds in the longest quarter so far in this match between Shock and Prince Alfred. So you would have to think that would be a blast or a little something out of the whatever they blow, because they don't blow much, in towards centre half forward. A chance now. There's a free kick, I think. Lorb gets the free kick. He was taken without the ball, and he'll take the free kick at the 31-minute mark of this term. He was on the move. He was running quite merrily with his orange football boots. Got himself going. Now, what's going to happen? The umpire is having a look. Where is he? See him in a minute when he gets back and has a chance to have a shot. Shot at goal. That was the siren, by the way. And that kick is pretty good. No, it's not. Through for a behind. So 4-8-32 to 8-6-54. So that's a margin of 4, and all that's 32, 22 points. And now that is a margin that's going to be, you would think, winnable, because they have held sway. That's how we see it. It's been fairly predictable. But during that quarter, we had some goals scored. And the goals mainly went by way of Davis, who had 3, and Bristol had 4. That's a magnificent performance. And nothing too exciting by way of Sacred Heart. So 42 to 8654. Peter Walsh and Indy Rogers here as the conditions, do they get a little bit cooler?
Absolutely, as the sun continues to set, a little more overcast weather as well. I reckon there's a bit more of a chill starting to creep in. I'm hoping that doesn't signal any showers coming along, but there's no certainty over that yet. The weather's actually been pretty good this afternoon. No wet weather to speak of outside of course, this morning prior to the game. But you could see there are some very chilly people out here on the bench. Obviously, couples are snuggling, but also some people just rubbing their hands together in their jackets as well to stay warm. Whatever your solution is, we hope that you are warm wherever you're watching. 32 to 54, the match day live stream. Obviously, thanks to Dartfish and Filming Footy for making this possible. And make sure ratify our game day sponsor.
Yes, well, Benunga rolling along merrily on top. Sacred Heart with 3 and 1. Prince Albert 3 and 1. Tealy Travel, it's just like the drink that you've 3-1. Port District 2-2. Broadview 2-2. Brighton Bombers 2-2. Goodwood Saints 1 and 3. St Peter's zip and 4. And Old Merchants zip and 4. And you start to become now, as we head towards the middle of the year, a bit of an idea as to where your team will stand. And at the moment, well, 8-6 to 4, it's been a fairly comprehensive performance by Prince Alfred. What we'll do too at the end, we'll have to present them with the thongs. That'll be a tough call. I think I might leave the building there and you can do that. I don't know how we'll do that.
There is a bit of wet weather coming in just now.
I know it is.
It's come in late, so that's new if you're just joining us. And, well, a bit of sun back there on the Adelaide Hills. It'd be nice to commentate up there right now. I'm sure Jeff Pistols of Benny Goldfish would be okay, but down here it's getting pretty cold. I'll tell you what, if we're talking about contenders for the beanie, early names that have got to be mentioned from the currently leading team. Chris Curran has been magnificent in the defense. A really big presence. Tyson Brazel has had a really good game as well and put together an all-round performance for a forward. And it does prove that when Jaden Davis can't kick every goal, you have other options. And Brazel has really stood up as that extra option today. I also think Campbell Wildman has had a really good game. And another who I would definitely put on that list. From a Sacred Heart perspective so far from those first 3 quarters, I'd probably just say that I think there's been a pretty good performance all round from Clayton Simons. The skipper, Cooper Brinkworth, has had to do a lot in the defence because the ball's been going back there a lot. And Kyle Lotto's been playing all over the place in all sorts of key positions. If he had more scoreboard impact or just maybe clutched a couple more marks, I reckon he'd be higher on that list. But of course, they're trailing. It'll be hard to win the beanie that way.
Now, they won't win the beanie, but I'll tell you what, if they had an umbrella to give out, everyone would want that because it started to rain, and those that have been sitting in front of us with their rain have done the Mary Poppins. They are being well looked after by the umbrellas that they are using. The umpire, this is plural, yeah, this is good, and there's a fairly substantial umbrella that's just out in front of us, and also the rainbow. Did you see it?
Yes, of course.
How exciting is that?
It's very nice. Saw one earlier this morning, and it's nice to see one again, yeah.
Well, I'm happy for you. That's good, Andy. I'm glad, Indy, I'm glad you got a big buzz. I actually went to a function this morning, and there were no rainbows, but there were kids everywhere. And they had a good time. Now, what do we get out of this last quarter? I know we've got to pick who the best player is, but what do we need? He demonstrated a powerful verbal address to the troops after training about what they need to do to be at that place.
Well, his leadership alone is pivotal to getting them back into this match, but also some of the names stepping up in the midfield that just haven't quite been able to keep up. A lot of their clearances have just been more butchers of the ball, hasty, rushed kicks, and in comparison, Prince Alfred just looks so clean and composed.
Yeah, look, we sit and we watch the games and we don't see them regularly. But if you see the two games today as we have, and we'll look at them again on tape, etc., there's a big difference between the two of them. A big difference. And the side that goes into this final quarter, 8:54 to Shocks, 4:8:32. They could win substantially in this last quarter and make this a bit messy. Not sure that'll be the case. I hope it's not, but they're running on. They look as if they're ready to sort of really finish off this particular day.
And its ball is exactly where they'd like it to be too. Umpire's patient with the whistle here, but just for a ball up. He's done that a few times today. Extra analytical umpires. There's no shame in that. Probably say that all things considered, Jordan Neal has won most of the taps today. And that's helped Prince Alfred a lot around the stoppages. This could help too. Craig Pitt. Ball going wide, too wide in fact. That will be last touch. It'll come into the hands of Seb Kerish, who's having a very good game in the defence. Definitely one of the better for Sacred Heart.
You know, that visual of how good do the hills look? Well, they don't look any good now because you can't see them. They've just disappeared. Oh, it's getting a little bit fresh if you don't mind. Just a little bit fresh. Anyway, that's what it's all about. You can't expect running around playing football and not getting wet. So we're not expecting that. It's almost a chance for a score down there on the opposite end of the ground that I'm looking at. I'm waiting for someone to emerge because there's a mark. Short passes on there from Rupert Peake. And what's he going to do? He's going to go the short pass there. Lorb into the forward pocket. And good. I'm really pleased, Indy, because it's gone over the boundary line. And I can hardly see anything down there, so you can.
Well, it will actually be a ball up just before the boundary line. It'll probably get tapped straight back out anyway. Unless Tom McDermott can conjure up something. It looks like he's been infringed. You'll get a free kick here. He might have just copped a little bit of a whack on the head. Or maybe a knock to the back. One of the two. Doesn't matter. However he gets him, he's got a free kick here. Tom McDermott. They can't afford to be cute in this quarter, Sacred Heart. The Shocks have to deliver their best quarter of the day. So we tick to about the 3-minute mark. Starts his run up from outside the 50-metre arc. Off the left. Oh, fades. In fact, it just fades too much. That'll only be a minor score and makes it a 21-point margin, 33-54. You're with Peter Walsh.
Ball to be brought back into play. 8:6:54, 4:8:32. Coolish day, becoming fresh, soon to be becoming very cold. Left boot to ball, out of trouble down there was from Hamish Duncan. Didn't travel too far, bounces back towards halfback. Short pass is there. And it's been knocked away. Umpire's saying it's over the boundary line for a throw in. Don't forget, we'll be picking who wins the thongs. Racing out there and making a quick presentation. A happy snap out there from our photographer, who was worked beautifully, Harry. And we'll get that all sorted. Very popular, the thongs. I know last night we had Alex Carlotto. He was thrilled to get the thongs when it was about -2. Still, if you want to hand them out and plug what we're trying to do, and that's to give them away, that's what we need to do, correct, Wade?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Still time to put your hand up late if you want to put together a career best quarter, which has been done before in football. Oh, big colliding fly in. Oliver Clark fell out of it, managed to get back up straight away, thankfully. Ball going to the wider side. The intercept mark was taken by Prince Alfred, but the free kick whistle goes the other way. Sam Lorb doesn't step off his mark, but he's indecisive. The wrong decision sometimes better than the indecision. He gets it off to Lachlan Hartshorn, but he misses his target by foot. Jack Traingrove with the intercept. Going back Prince Alfred's way. Jolly. Oh, his kick was smothered. That doesn't happen much with Jolly. He can shrug off a tackle or two. He somehow managed to get rid of it, although it's gone straight into the hands of his opposition. So penalty or no penalty, it's a turnover. McDermott, high kick. Curran wasn't able to take that with clean hands. He was almost chopped out of it, but now it goes forward for the Shocks. Getting up high with an early leap, wasn't able to take it. Oscar Lovelock with a snap. It was smothered. Prince Alfred with the extra crumbing numbers. Get it to the outer side, and there might have just been a hand on the end of that ball, or is it going to be last touch? The umpire has gestured to a throw-in, so that's what it will be.
Bit happening in the last few minutes. Nothing on the scoreboard. We've gone almost 6 minutes. 8:6:54 to 4:8:32. Don't forget a presentation at the end of the game. That'll be the 3, 2 and 1s. As we see sprinting down there to occupy a position of authority is Craig Pitt, number 4. Actually runs past the player who had it. Who's going to grab it and kick wide towards the half-back line? Loose ball, bounces. Number 42 got in there. That was Elderhurst. Not quite, knocked away. The Blue Boys have it. Short pass towards the half-forward line. Now the hand pass is on. That's better. Hand pass goes Jolly's way. Hand pass from him back towards centre wing. Hand pass. Oh, there's a lot of handballs going, but not hitting the target. Making it very, very awkward for all and sundry. The umpire's watching. Is he going to give a free kick? He's blown the whistle at last, and I'm reckoning there's going to be a free kick because it was, where's the kick to the head, you moron? I'm not sure exactly what that means.
Pardon his French.
The free kick there goes to McRae, who was on the mark, I should say. Kick. And towards the half-back line. Falls into a pack where Noble is. He tries to knock it forward. Short pass is on there from Kerrish. Down the ground, that's all right. Is anyone there to take it? There is. And the Kerrish is good, and it's marked there by Kasuro.
Tristakar Kiro now on the right foot. Beautiful kick. They haven't had delivery like that much of the day. This could be a big moment for it, though. Cameron Rankin. Can he kick the first goal of the fourth quarter? Definitely a bit of controversy around the call along the boundary line there a little earlier. And of course, for those curious, we do 3-2-1 votes for the Roll the Dice Media of the Player Award, but we don't announce what those votes are on air. And speaking of things that shouldn't be on air, I think that kick would be on the list of them. Ball to go back into Prince Alfred's hands.
Funny old caught up. 8 minutes have gone, 4:8:32 to 8:6:54. Mark taken in defence there by Clayton Simons. Clayton, he's not sure what to do. He stops, he starts, and he starts again. He's hooked the ball across the goal face. Oh, the ball hung in the air, and that looked as if it was going to go plop. It didn't go plop, and I reckon that could be the boss down there, you know. He's going to turn around. It is. It's Alex Carlotto. Don't you just love a name like that? You see him every Monday and you say, did you win Lotto? And he just looks at you as if to say, mate, that's just so boring. Just move on. Think of something different. Here he comes, directly in front. Kicked the first goal of the game. He shoots for goal, and he's put it through. Let's have a look at the goal umpire signalling the goal. I think he has. Yes, he has. So that was a strong and a bold mark, but more importantly, he's kicked the goal. 5:38 to 8:6:54. Love it when a big man decides when he's going for a mark, he's going to split the pack wide open. He did that, and he's kicked a goal.
Nearly 10 minutes gone. They're not out of it. 38 to 54, actually 39 to 54 is the correct score.
Are you backing them in, are you, Indy? I know you like a bet.
I'm not. I'm one to keep the money in my pocket, Peter. But personally speaking, I do give them a little sniff.
Okay.
Small one.
How about those two people in front of where we are? Is it possible for them to get any closer than the umbrella that they're in front of us now?
Well, we won't be able to see with that umbrella. Ooh. It's another call that goes to the dismay of the the Sacred Heart fans, because it's going Prince Alfred's way. Riley Davis managed to tackle his man, catch him holding the ball. He slung him a little bit afterwards, but just shy of reverting the decision. This would hurt if he could revert it back. It's a shot from directly in front. Distance, the only dilemma. Ooh, chips the top of the post.
It's a good kick, wasn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't bad. So that's a lifeline almost for Sacred Heart if they can get it back into play. They haven't traversed it from coast to coast much today. Can they do it now?
We'll just have a look now. It's 13 scoring shots to 15. There's only a couple between the two of them. You sort of wonder. Now, here's a chance for our umbrella people down below who have moved away, and I'm really pleased about that. Hand pass by Lovelock, and after he'd hand pass, he's the Sacred Hearts Lovelock. Ball over the boundary line. Now the shots the difference, and we're 13 minutes into the last quarter.
Well, the scoreboard reads 3 goals straight at the ground, but we actually have the correct scoreboard, thanks to our scoreboard sponsor, Sportle, as well as our producer today. And that's 17 points, because it's 39 to 56. So if the scores are tied by the end of all of this, and that'll be very interesting, because...
Well, I'm going home afterwards. Are you staying here to check the scores, are you?
Well, the goal umpires will have to come together as well and decide what happens.
Yep.
Campbell Wildman. Now Jordan Neal clearing it out. High ball. Too difficult to win in these chilly conditions. You'll have to keep it nice and low. Take it to turf. Wildman struggling to get it out. Umpire being patient with him.
You've got a tough call. We're all going to throw in 2 bobs worth as to who we think should get the sandals. But, you know, both sides at certain stages, as you so accurately assessed at the start of the last quarter, have given their supporters a reason for some hope.
Absolutely. The only game they lost this year was by under a goal against Goodwood in round 1, and that was actually a very winnable game. Opportunity here for Joshua Garrels. Can you get goal number 2 and potentially snuff any small burning flame out?
Speaking of flames, it's getting quite cool here, isn't it?
Yeah, a couple of fires along the boundary line might not be a bad idea, actually. Add a little bit to the atmosphere. Maybe not so good for the smell.
All right.
But Garrels is not good for the goal, only for the minor score. So that it's now an 18-point margin.
Yep, low scoring game because in the reserves, Shock 9-11-65, Prince Alfred 9-9-63, so that was close. Running through and going very, very quickly was McAuliffe, who couldn't get rid of it. Ball back towards centre wing. Ackermanis taken to ground. Flick the ball back over the shoulder, not called. Umpire watches. Now off the ball. We're just waiting to see. Oh, there's a player there. Getting the ducks and drakes, getting up and wandering around. I'm just waiting to see whether or not there's a possibility of a score. There will be, because the kick in towards the half-forward line went from Bradley. Umpire says you're hanging on and you can't do that because he hasn't got the ball. That's Liam Binning. And I said to him before the game, how are we going to describe you? And he said, what do you think of my haircut? And I said, oh, I suppose it's all right. He said it's the brushback. Okay, so he's the brushback. The umpire wants to get called the brushback. He's doing a good job out there too. He's in the middle as we speak. The Kermit the Frog look with the green clobber, doing a mighty job and getting close to 17 minutes. 5:8:38 to 8:8:56. Don't forget, as soon as the game finishes, we will be giving you the announcement of who will get the thong, and I'll be out there presenting that to the particular person. I can hardly wait.
Yes, it's very exciting. Ball back into Prince Alfred's hands. Back into their territory too. Jolly, Thumbled. He actually hasn't had the cleanest of days, Jolly. He's had to have other midfielders around and really step up. Tackled out of it there, almost without the ball, was Harrison Morgan. It spills over the boundary line. We're getting close to the 17-minute mark, and a chance of a comeback is becoming smaller and smaller because no one's got a goal this quarter, Peter. No one's got a goal this quarter.
But still, I think that this quarter has been rather exciting, in all honesty. I think the game hasn't fallen away completely.
I haven't denied the excitement factor, just, well, it's been difficult to get back into the match for Sacred Heart. It does show that you can't all leave it to the last second. Could be a message for school kids at home and maybe even school kids spectating at this ground. Don't leave all your homework to the last second. Get it done early, get it done in patches, and pad out your work routine, you know?
Homework? What's that?
Oh, we live in very different generations, Peter.
I went to a private school in Ballarat, but never really worried too much about homework. So we'll move on from there, shall we?
You might have been given it, but you might have just tried to repress it from your memory so you didn't have to do it then.
That's it. But school was, yeah, it was impressive. Now at half forward, we've gone some 18 minutes and we're going to have a shot on goal and the ball is going to bounce. Oh, unfortunately, because off the boot there, it kicked across the face of the goal and through for a behind. 8:10:58 to 5:8:38. 18 minutes gone in the final term. Rain continues. It's not pouring down, Indy, but it's just that mizzle rain that is annoying.
Well, it makes the sky pretty ugly, that's for sure. Coming down into the corridor now. The ball gets flicked out. Running into a lot of trouble there. William Charlick put his hands in the Pringle jar, but the umpire helped him to get out. Ball thrown back up in the centre square. Taking an early leap there was Bradley Noble. Prince Alfred with the clearance. Oh, hit out there. Now it's Seb Kerish with the 1-2. Now off the left foot, he ran into the corridor just to get a bit of momentum on that kick. Oh, desperate to get it onto the boot there was McAuliffe, and he might have actually conceded possession through all the pressure. Chris Curran, once again standing tall and supreme. Comes out to Jolly, hands it off to Oscar Clark, but Oscar Clark not so good by foot. Last touch. will find its way back into the hands now of Sacred Heart through Lachlan Hartshorn, who we haven't called too much of today. It's a big moment to stand up. We're getting near the 20-minute mark. They're going to have to play pinpoint perfect football to somehow win this game now and snatch it from the nearly shut jaws. Can it be done? Bradley Noble takes it all the way to the goal square. Still in the pocket. It rolls out of bounds. And players take a moment to catch their breath in this exciting but completely uneventful last quarter.
I was wondering what you're going to say there. No, look, you've got to be honest, and you've been honest right throughout our call, and that is once a side creates a bit of space, which has been the case, we've got one team, and that's Prince Alfred, who've had 18 scoring shots. The Shocks who've had 13 scoring shots. And once you get away, and if you've got one side who've got a goal kicker who kicks 4, and on the same team another one kicks 3, you're half a chance to win the game. And that's what's happened. And that's what's going to tell the story. And we're going to have a shot at goal from Sam Norb, who comes in. Go Sam! Fire away, Sam! Sam puts it on its way and puts it through for a goal. And that's what's been able to happen whenever they have been under pressure. They've been able to kick those goals. And it's unfair, Andy, just at the end of this game where we're coming up to the end of it, as to who the best sides are in the competition. But you have to say that the side that's going to win this game by a lot has given us plenty of room to be enthusiastic about today. You're supposed to say yes then.
Well, I gave a nod and I gave a nod. I made a friendly grunt.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, my own way of speaking.
That's okay.
Should have translated there. Prince Alfred clear it out. Big crunching tackles coming in from the combined efforts of Craig Pitt and Joshua Garrels, who's had a good game. I reckon it's a pretty good idea now of how much time would be left, because it's been a low-scoring quarter, meaning that there wouldn't be that much time on. There was a lot of time on in the third because that's when the game picked up in pace. But no goals in this quarter, just minor scores. I reckon not too much time left, and probably not enough time left for a miracle Sacred Heart comeback, unfortunately. But fortunately for Prince Alfred, there's a lot of names to put their hand up for that beanie, but I got a good idea. I'll talk about that in a second, as Jolly was desperate to get that one off. Brinkworth manages to find Simons. They go down through the corridor. Tristan Karkiro, he's maybe taking too much time to make a decision, and he made the wrong one in the end. Wildman trying to space it out. He's outnumbered, but his effort is fantastic. He had to really weave his way around 3 opponents there, and he did all that he could under immense pressure, but that could be a game-defining moment, really.
There's been a few of them too. I think when you get the tape out, the boss will look and will say, let's have a look at the 10-minute mark of the third quarter and see what you did. And there are these magic moments, magic thinking about one of the football shows during the week, the performance of let me think, Sean Burgoyne and Michael Long and those sorts of guys, and Nicky Winmar. When you think of the magic that they can provide, that's what I love now. We're talking about the long walk with Michael Long and with Collingwood and with Carlton and all those sorts of things. And when all we can do is we can think about what we get by way of watching the Indigenous players playing so well. And some of those names I've just thrown at you now, you just think about how much enjoyment you've had watching the magic of these sorts of young people that have played so well, and just watching them ourselves. It's been breathtaking, and that's why we love our footy so much. We see the chance to see them in action. Without question, Indy, they never let us down. There's always someone who'll do something out of the ordinary.
Absolutely, and this has been a match out of the ordinary, considering that one of them hosts the leading goal kicker for the year, and both of them have centered themselves off of high-scoring brands, but definitely they went in today with the opposite mentality, and as we said, practicing throughout the week, probably swimming through dump trucks just to get a little bit of exposure to the slog, but we're still not midway through July, so it's not too bad today. Not too much wet weather, apart from a little bit at three-quarter time. We're approaching the 25-minute mark now. Ball to be thrown in. Not too many more throw-ins, you'd think, for this match. Neil with the tap. Tapped it straight to his opponent. It'll be conserved for another ball up. Neil, got completely poleaxed in that ruck contest. It doesn't matter, though. At this stage, Seb Kerish will take the ball. Probably won't be able to get it to the forward 50, and that's a defining story of the day, really. Just their inability to get the transition game going. We talked about it at quarter time, but if Sacred Heart could just get more comfortably from coast to coast, then they could have at least been able to conjure up some more scores. Although the actual scoring opportunities on the board are pretty even between the two teams. Maybe a little bit flatter in this quarter. Prince Alfred kicked a couple minor scores, but have dominated most of the territory. That ball goes over the head of the intended target. Stays alive temporarily. Late tackle there from Thiel, who had a really good opening to the match. Hasn't shown up too much recently. And that ball is going to tumble over the boundary line on last touch rule, which is going to give the ball back to Sacred Heart Oscar Lovelock. Can he look for a late consolation prize as we hit the 26-minute mark? It's spoiled out here. What can the Crummers conjure? Sumner, really great. So are the rest of Prince Alfred's Crummers. That's really where another spot where they've really defined today's match, and that is just their ability to crumb from those big pack spoils and margy-bargy shoves. Ball up just shy of the 50-metre arc. For Sacred Heart Old Collegians, as the sun beginning to set on not their day, but definitely Prince Alfred's day.
No, it hasn't been. And if you think about the scoreboard, I know we constantly look, but Shock have had 6 and 8, 14 scoring shots, and Prince Alfred have had 8 and 10. That's 18. There's only a difference of 18 overall, as we see one of the players there just looking a little bit on the shaky side of things. That's Craig Pitt. So there hasn't been a massive total, but it's been enough. It's been enough. And as we speak now, there's another free kick. Player down there calling out for a little bit of latitude to bring the ball a bit further. And he doesn't need to bring it any further because the siren sounds and completes what has happened, and that is Shock 6-8-44 to Prince Alfred 8-10-58. The score, a margin of 14 points. So I'll go and do my dinger, and I'll find Chris Curran.
Yep, I think we're in mutual agreement that he was the best man today. And yeah, we're going to take a break now while we try to fetch him out. But the final score reads 6 goals, 9:45 to 8 goals, 10:58. It was Prince Alfred in a sloggy but convincing 13-point affair.
Chris, congratulations. Seldom do you have to walk across one football ground to get a beanie and some unusual summer attire, but you did because you did well today. Well done.
Thank you. A bit of a all-year-round kit, isn't it? So thanks for that. Yeah, it was would have been a tough day of viewing, I reckon. It was a bit slippery underfoot. It's a skinny deck. You can't really move the ball too well and downhill one way. So yeah, we want to be a repeater for the team. Get to as many contests as we can and just outnumber the opposition, and we sort of did that in the end.
You set yourself high standards. You're a very professional athlete. How would you then, as you walk away from today's game, assess how you thought you played?
I get to my age, you don't really care too much. I get great joy out of teaching young guys a lot of stuff that I learnt through my days at Glenelg and even the last couple of years here. So I love watching the vision, teaching some stuff to the guys not only on game day but during the week. So that's my kick out of footy. Not many how kicks I get, and obviously winning's the number one.
Doesn't take much for you to get yourself up though. You've been there long enough to know that each time when you step across that white line, the expectancy is that you're going to do well. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, I think just intercept defenders are a valuable commodity. Not only to stop them scoring, but to launch score chains, and that's my role in the team, and that's what they want me to do, and I'll keep trying to do it.
I won't get you to stand here any longer because it's pouring with rain. Can you stick that on, please?
I can, thanks to Dartfish.
Yep.
Great supporter, Adelaide Footy League.
Beautiful. Now you've also got, what are they called?
Archies.
The Archies. You don't have to put those on now, but I want you to, with sincerity, go back and just pass on the information that we love getting to people like yourself, and well done.
Thanks very much, appreciate it.
Good on you, Chris.
Thanks.
B.O.G. Hey. Karen, well done, mate. Well done, mate. B.O.G. What do you win some?
Everything. Andy, that's what it's all about. Seriously,
Well
we'll be
done,
able
mate.
to get across and talk to those who we're calling, and they love it.
Yeah, absolutely. Rainbow in the background as well for the interview, so perfect framing. Not perfect conditions. The rain is blowing in, so we better get inside now, Peter.
Good stuff, Andy. Indy, thanks for your job today, and thanks to our crew. It's been different because it's absolutely pouring down with rain now, but it's always good to bring the football to those who think that we do a reasonable job, and well done. Good to work with you.
Yeah, thank you. It's a massive privilege to work with you, especially with some of your reputation. I've worked with some really great names this year thanks to Filming Footy, and I'm really grateful to be here, part of the commentating team. So hope to see you again at some point, and good luck when you go back to Bendigo.
Works both ways, my friend. All the best to you.
You too.
Okay, thanks everyone. Hope you've enjoyed our coverage. We have, but we're getting out of the rain because it's pouring. Thank you.
9 News, teaming up with the Adelaide Footy League. Tom Wren on the ground at your club for Thursday Night Live, strengthening communities through footy.